On the tube, ticket fraudsters get a hard ride.
You're on my station, you haven't got a ticket for your journey. Yeah, this is my station.
And a graffiti vandal gets an early morning wake-up call.
Hello, police!
After the last trains run on the underground, the engineers go to work. It's duty manager Andy Hogg's job to check the track. Andy knows it's not just London Underground staff that are active in the tunnels at night.
Graffiti is a major problem. Anyone that commutes on our trains quite regularly, I think, everyone would have seen Tox. Tox 03. There's a few Tox 04s around, and obviously all the Tox 01s and 2s have been cleaned off. This Tox character obviously has been causing us a lot of problems over the years. I don't know anywhere that I haven't seen a Tox tag, as they're called, on the walls, on the trains, in places that even I can't access, even I don't know how to get into these places, and I've seen Tox written on them.
But the graffiti problem is more widespread than Tox alone. It costs tube companies £12 million each year to clean graffiti from their trains. At the Hammersmith depot, trains are prepared for the next day.
Have you found some graffiti yet?
Metronet's Pravin Pindoria oversees the cleaning operation.
I see quite a lot of graffiti, yes. I do understand the logic behind it. Whether I agree with it or not, it's another thing, but they put it at the places where it's hardest to get off, and it's the most visual. It's about publicity for themselves, really.
Each night, over 100 specialist graffiti cleaners begin the difficult task of removing train vandals' handiwork.
When you go inside, you see a lot of gravity on the train. You feel so down at what's going on in this train, everything is still messed up.
No, I don't think it's beautiful. They are messing up the trains. It's very tough, cleaning the graffiti. To make the life very hard for us.
Every tag is different, so the cleaners have to use a variety of chemicals and tools. A policy of zero tolerance means that trains that have been graffitied are not put into customer service.
Well, I think they should be prosecuted. Yeah. They should be arrested and sent to court and prosecuted.
Although the damage is obvious, it's very rare to catch the culprits in the act. They work under the cover of darkness and disguise their identities.
Working on this type of crime is a lot harder than I ever imagined. If you compare it to, say, a violent assault, with a violent assault you've got the victim, generally witnesses and CCTV, and it's often done in public view. With this type of crime, you have often none of that.
PC Tim Marry works for the British Transport Police's anti-graffiti squad. With up to 1,000 new tags appearing on the tube every day, he has his work cut out for him.
We're at Edgware Road now, on the Metropolitan Line station, and there's been a report of damage to the sidings, which is this area underneath this hoarding and the far wall where recent damage has taken place. So that's the damage. Taker, diabolical, Dubstars, that's the variation of DDS. A friend Tox 04, the new year, Fume, Prime, again Tox, Band, Is It and Tox generally go together. So we've probably got 4 or 5, I think there's probably about 4 people here that actually did the damage.
Of all the graffiti vandals, Tox is the most prolific.
Tox, we associate with a particular offender, though it's never been proven at court. I've met this fellow on a number of occasions now, and I've seen him more times than I have members of my own family. On my desk here, starting from here and ending up there, that is all files relating to incidents where there's been damage and Tox has been part of that damage. Tox is one of the most elusive of the graffiti artists. He is surveillance conscious. Where we've picked him up before, generally we don't pick him up doing the same mistake again. And it's a close-knit world with all the graffiti people. It does go around. 2 years ago, you might have been guaranteed to get a load of stuff when you turn them over at their house. Now, you're going to be lucky and you've got to look a lot harder. If he wasn't good at evading, then we'd have nicked him and put him away by now. But that's all to come.
Graffiti is not the only crime committed on the Underground. Ticket fraud is a major problem, costing London Underground over £30 million a year. Revenue inspectors Darren Smith and Denise Bunker are heading for Camden Town as part of a plainclothes operation.
This is probably one of the most volatile stations on the Underground, and for some strange reason, this is the station where they least like to be caught, and they kick off.
Today, Darren and Denise are working with 13 other inspectors. It's a case of safety in numbers. Last year, over 100 revenue staff were assaulted.
We're looking for out-of-date tickets, short seasons, freedom passes, and the most important things, let's not get any assaults. We don't want any assaults.
Ticket inspectors, checking tickets, please. Thank you. Hello, ticket inspector. Just come over a minute. Can I just ask where you've travelled from this morning?
I've not had any situations where it's been dangerous, but yes, it can be very dangerous.
I asked you twice, where have you travelled from? I'm trying to help you. Is that the easy way or the hard way? I deal with people not being totally honest with me every single day, okay? If you want to make that hole get bigger, then keep digging.
It can be very confrontational, but it's all about using your head before you open your mouth.
Well, put it this way, if you don't want to go to court and you get a letter to go to court, a summons will be sent out for your arrest.
An awkward passenger with no ticket is causing problems on the platform.
You don't want to hand over, I don't know.
You got in a ballon, mate?
Yeah.
You got anything in your pocket, sir?
No, I haven't.
Well, have a look for me. Have a look, or I'll get you checked. I don't care. You want to be checked out, yeah?
Yeah.
You're quite happy with that, all right?
Yeah.
Okay, you got any ID in your bag?
No.
Have a look.
No.
Have a look.
Why should I have a look?
Because I'm asking you to have a look.
No, I won't.
You're on my account, you're on my station, you haven't got a ticket. Have a look in your bag for ID. And don't look over there. Have you got any ID?
What are you talking like?
Get some ID out.
I don't have it.
Yes, you do.
Just shout as you like.
You've got ID. What, don't swear at me. Did I swear at you?
Why is he talking
Did
to
I
me like
swear
that?
at you?
Why are you talking to me
Because
like
I want
this?
some identification.
Well, don't talk to me like that.
I will speak to you how I want. You are on my station. You haven't got a
Your
ticket for
station
your
was
journey.
your
Yeah,
dad's
this is my station.
Your dad, yeah?
My station.
Left it to you.
Yeah? Get some identification out. I'll get the police. I don't mind. Get him searched, man. Get him searched.
Sorry, what was your first name?
All right, wait there then, Wayne. Generally, when they see a police officer, that's enough to prompt them to start playing the game a little bit, and we basically get what we need from this guy. Of course, if he wants to play the same game as playing with them, he's going to get himself nicked. The inspector downstairs believes that he's got something on him that maybe he shouldn't have.
No worries.
He's refusing to show us any identification whatsoever. When he realised the guy that was going upstairs for police assistance, during that period, he's given his full name and address, which fortunately is checked out with, you know, our checking system. You know, he's looking at a pretty hefty fine. He didn't buy a ticket, and he admitted that, you know, he just bunked through behind a fare-paying passenger at the station he entered. So he's going to get done.
At Stockwell Station, home of the anti-graffiti unit, PC Tim Marry has had a breakthrough. He's got new evidence which could confirm Tox's identity.
He's coming up and he does a tag of Myth Tox. He's wearing a face mask, but he's only covering his nose, mouth and chin. So I think we've got a good runner there.
The Tox suspect has been arrested and released on bail with conditions.
If we get a conviction at court on this job, then it dramatically increases the chances of us linking previous crimes to this offender.
Is this the end of the line for Tox? Last year, there were more than 18,000 reported crimes on the Underground. The British Transport Police have over 550 officers who patrol the tube network. PC Neil Stevenson is one of them. He's been called to Seven Sisters Station on the Victoria line.
Hello there. Hello. You tell me what you're doing in the station just now.
Tell me what you're doing in there.
Yeah, what were you doing in the station just now?
Waiting for somebody.
You were waiting for somebody?
Yeah.
We just see you on the monitor speaking to somebody and it looked like you sold someone a ticket.
No, I don't.
You didn't do that, no? OK, who are you waiting for?
I'm waiting for my friend.
Yeah? And what time's he meant to be here?
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock? You're a little bit early, aren't you?
Yeah, but...
Like you're an hour and a half early. I know what you do, yeah? You do sell tickets, yeah? And we don't want to see you back in the station, yeah? If you're waiting for someone, you wait out here.
Yeah, but I'm waiting out here. You don't
yeah, well,
if
you stay out here and wait for somebody, I've got a problem with that, OK? He's one of our regulars here. He's quite an eccentric character, quite an elderly Rastafarian gentleman. And basically, I think what he does is he tickets out here. And hopefully he'll heed what I've said and keep away.
But it seems Neil's advice has fallen on deaf ears.
Well, I'm coming through, isn't it?
Excuse me, I mean, the information we've got is that you're touting on the station?
No, I just passed through the station from up there, so I just talking to somebody.
We've got information to receive that you may be touting on this station, OK?
Yeah.
What I intend to do is to search you, OK? You've been searched before, haven't you?
All the time.
Yeah, all the time,
All
yeah?
the time. All the time. Yeah, I enjoy it. I'm 66 years old.
You're 66 years old?
I'm not a youth, you know what I mean?
You're not a young man anymore.
I'm getting this harassment.
You're not getting harassed. How are you being harassed? How am I harassing you? I'm treating you with courtesy.
Yeah,
I'm telling you what I'm doing. I'm telling you why I'm doing it.
Yeah,
Turn to face me, please. You do drugs?
Yeah,
you obviously do. You got any drugs on you?
No, I don't got none. I don't have no money.
Yeah? When's the last time you took drugs?
Yesterday.
Yesterday. And what drugs do you take, Charles?
Cool.
Cocaine? Yeah. You've got 5 tickets dated for today, when you should only need 1 ticket. Why have you got 5 tickets?
Well, I got 5 tickets. Well, I can.
Do you collect them?
Yeah, I collect them.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Okay. We know you're a ticket tout. You've been dealt with for ticket touting before. Okay, let me finish. You go home and you make sure you go home.
Yes.
You do not come back to this station, because if we stop you under similar circumstances, we may be having a slightly different conversation. I've been working this stretch of the line for like the last 14, 15 years. And for the last 10 of them, he's been around here. You're 5p short. I'm sure the bus driver will let you off 5p. You've got enough there to get to Hornsey. OK then.
Metropolitan line driver Keith Tibbles has worked on the tube for over 40 years and has had his fill of graffiti.
Well, this fella Tox, they've been trying for years to catch him. He causes thousands of pounds of blooming damage to LT, which you could use for other things. OK, you put your name on something, but what does it achieve? It's just, you know, it's defacing things, isn't it? And it makes it look ugly. I mean, you got a lot on there, look, Tox free. I mean, it just looks awful. Look, there it is there, look. It just makes the place look, ugh. And you get tourists over here, and what do they think? I'd like to meet him, I'll give him a kicking.
Even the train Keith is driving has a story to tell. It's early morning, and Tim Marry is on his way to rearrest the Tox suspect. He's broken his bail conditions.
One of the restrictions on him is he's got a curfew. Officers went round last week to check that he was in for his curfew. They were here for about half an hour. He wasn't in, so we were going to come round, arrest him for breaching his bail conditions, put him hopefully before the court this morning. Hi, it's the police. Can you let us in, please? 7 o'clock now, so he's outside his curfew time. He's got to produce himself at the front door. If he doesn't, he's liable to, well, he will go before the court, and he's liable to remain in prison until his court date in March.
Tim decides to stake out the property.
We're going to see if he will turn up in the next hour or so. Yeah, it's just one of those things. Just wait. That's what most of it's about. We're going to go up, have another bang on the door, see if he'll come out. Hello, police! Hello. Yeah? Yeah, we'll come in. While we're in here, do you mind if we have a look in his room just to check for our own peace of mind that he's not here? Make sure he contacts us, yeah? Sooner rather than later. All right, thanks very much. Thanks. Bye-bye. Hopefully we'll get him to come to the police station when we can sort it out and put it before the court.
The revenue team are hunting their own prey, this time checking for fare dodgers on the trains.
Ticket inspectors, in plain clothes, checking tickets and passes, please. Checking all tickets and passes, please. Because we're in plain clothes and we're just acting like a customer or a passenger like anybody else, we're just standing there, and as soon as them doors close, ticket inspectors checking tickets, you can see the surprise in their face. I like working the trains. Element of surprise. That's what I like.
To be fair as well, the difference with trains and stations is there's nowhere for them to run. So if they've committed any form of fraudulent travel, you've got them. Where did you start your journey? Where?
This station.
Right. So you're lying, okay? You understand what I'm saying? Yeah? Why are you lying to me? You travelled from Malden. These tickets have already been used. They're no good. Have you got any identification? You got a wallet in there? In your pocket? Yeah, let me see it. What's in your pocket?
You've come from Zone 2, Zone 1, without a valid ticket. Why not? So you're travelling to Leicester Square? OK. We can go 3 ways with a customer, and it's down to us which way we go. Issue a fare paid, a £10 penalty fare, or report them for prosecution. The worst could be, the very worst, is £1,000 or 3 months in prison.
Normally we would job and prosecute and get me, pay a couple of £100, but because they can't speak a word of the Queen's English, we're now giving them a £10 penalty fare for their journey each, so £20 for a £1.50 journey.
Revenue inspectors report 25,000 suspected fare evaders every year.
There are certainly chances. Hard to gauge if they're going to do it again. You know, when people offend, they generally think, well, you know, I've got away with it today. And if I get fined £50 once a year when I'm caught, I'm still saving 500 over the year, so.
The top suspect has been arrested, and today he's due to appear at Horseferry Road Magistrates Court. Tim's CCTV evidence will be crucial in creating a link between the suspect and the tag of Tox.
Today, after 1 or 2 years, we finally pinned the job on him where we can link it conclusively to his tag. Well, he's coming in a prison van from Feltham, where he's been for the last 6 weeks. Hopefully, at the end of today's trial, we'll be able to say that he's been convicted of the tag of Tox, and I'll come out with a smile on my face.
At Southwark Station, a blank wall ripe for graffiti is about to be given a dramatic makeover.
We obviously have this wonderful big blank blue canvas here, which is sort of screaming out for not improvement, but maybe decoration and brightening up. Maybe you should work from that top level and bring it down.
Victoria Jones from the Underground's Platform for Art team has commissioned 60 young offenders to create a mural.
It's by the Feltham Young Offenders.
And number 10 Downing Street, which is a strange choice. One of the issues that we went with was the fact that young people have vandalised their trains. So it was a way of creating a dialogue between the young people who vandalise trains and London Underground. They give themselves a really hard time about what they're good at, and I think that they should be proud of themselves. I'm really proud of them.
At Horseferry Road, a verdict has been reached in the Tox case.
Well, it was an excellent result. He pleaded guilty to committing the damage. He got a £1,250 fine in total. He served 7 weeks almost in Feltham, Young Offenders Institute. That's of breaching his bail conditions. He may have learnt his lesson, but I'm not too optimistic anymore about these things.
The Tox tag has caused London Underground hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of damage. Now that a conviction has been made, is the fight against the Tox tag finally over? Or has he just moved on? Next time, engineers have an emergency call-out in a tunnel.
Well, it's a good job these guys know what they're doing. They're inches away from 630 volts there.
And a brand new station assistant has to face her worst fears.
Not that I'm scared of dying, perhaps I just don't want to die that way.
engineers have an emergency call-out in a tunnel.
Well, it's a good job these guys know what they're doing. They're inches away from 630 volts there.
And a brand new station assistant has to face her worst fears.
Not that I'm scared of dying. In fact, I just don't want to die that way.
London is home to one of the world's largest underground railways. With 275 stations across 12 lines, the Tube is one of the capital's biggest employers, with over 12,000 staff. Every year, 700 new station staff begin a career with London Underground. At its headquarters, 12 recruits are about to start their training as station assistants. Jackie Blanchard is one of them.
We are about to ask you to do an impossible job. Your job is to give complete satisfaction to 3.5 million people a day.
Jackie has raised her family of 6, not in London, but in her St Albans home. Life is about to change. She's going to begin an intensive 4-week course to become a customer service assistant at King's Cross St Pancras.
At the moment, I'm feeling really good about it. And, you know, excited to be getting out. I think my brain needs it. It feels so empty. My head just feels so empty. But it's about time I put something decent in it, really. This isn't a challenge anymore, really. I love being a mum, but it's not a challenge. I can do it.
Jackie is thrown in at the deep end and sent off with awkward luggage to experience tube travel from a customer's point of view.
I just make it look big because I'm so visible.
She learns the ins and outs of some high-tech gadgetry.
Welcome to Victoria Station. This is the Victoria line. I don't know about the announcement. I thought I sounded terrible. I sound like an old fishwife.
Just choose a hat which you think may fit you.
I've been used to wearing navy blue. That's more me. But I'm sure I'll look good in royal blue.
Jackie also has to face the challenge of getting to grips with a massive new city.
Get the yellow district lines. Three to go. Here we are. I can't wait to put my feet up at the weekend, and I want all my children to come and bring me lots of chocolate and, you know, drinks, and I'm just going to laze around. Like, that's really going to happen.
It's Jackie's second week of training. As a frontline staff member, she'll have to cope with some unpredictable customers.
Earls Court receiving. So it's northbound that it's working.
Yeah,
oh, what's the time? Westbound service, normal service. Eastbound, severely disrupted.
Somebody to go to
Excuse me, love. Can I still go on the Piccadilly line then?
Well, I say so.
That's happening.
Well, I say so. I
Can
don't
I
actually
just-
think you're very fit to be travelling at
Just
all,
get up
sir.
here.
Well, if you sit down here for me, sir. Sit down here for me, sir. I might just call a first aider.
Oh, you see, you were quite close to him. You may want to be thinking a different way round that your own personal safety. Very important out there.
He was a nice drunk, yeah.
He was a nice drunk, yeah? He's a jolly old drunk,
He was a jolly old drunk.
I know the type.
Yes, he is.
Dealing with the public will be a key part of Jackie's job, and it won't always be a laugh. At Brixton, station supervisor Monty Montiero has seen it all.
Well, Madhouse Brixton. You have to be mad to be at Brixton, but it's very busy all the time, most of the time.
One long-standing problem is customers buying their tube tickets from touts.
We cannot give the money to our ticket touts operating in the ticket hall. That's correct, the gentleman with the woolly hat. Could you please upstairs? Yeah, thank you. 2 fingers, yep. Make your way upstairs, yep. Thank you. He's being a good boy. He's going upstairs.
Although Monty can force touts to leave his station, he can't do anything about them hanging around at the entrance. For control room assistant Aston French, it's been an ongoing battle.
Sometimes it could be 10 ticket touts operating outside the station. When we see them send a ticket to a customer, we'll take the ticket from the customer and ask the customer why you find the ticket from the ticket tout. Where do you think the money's going to? But there's some people out there who just want to sell tickets just for drugs. Look, this guy here, look, he's going to buy a ticket from what? See, he's right in front of him. Buys a ticket, money takes hand, down he goes.
Monty always challenges customers who buy tickets from touts.
Where did you buy the tickets from?
What? From that office there.
You,
you ripped off my ticket.
He ripped the
money.
tickets.
I want my money then.
You get out of the station. Out. Come on. Get out of the station.
What, you trying to...
You told the ticket.
But I ripped the ticket. You ripped it. Talk about my ticket.
You rip, now. Yeah, I'm here every day. You rip the ticket, not. I only asked you a simple question.
Shut up. Rip off my ticket, I want my money back on my ticket, or I want to go.
You can stand there. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Thank you. But they bought the ticket from the ticket outs, which is illegal. If they wanted to stay on the station, that's fine. We would call the police, get them nicked. Then they would also get nicked for threatened behavior. Because their threatened behavior is more important. Anyway, they're gone. That's another satisfied customer.
Not all of Jackie's training is about keeping customers happy. All station staff have to pass a track safety test, which means walking across electrified rails.
So this afternoon we're going to be doing a live track walk. So it's really important that you know how to be safe on the track. How many volts have we got going through here? 210 volts, DC current. That's the one in the middle. It'll never move. It's always in the middle. How much going through the positive? 420? So do you think there's a lot of current going through these positive and negative rails? That's why we don't touch them.
The trouble with walking across the track is there's 630 volts that goes through it. And I just got this feeling I'm going to faint or something on it. Just faint on it or touch it with my leg and just burn, just fry really. I don't want to fry.
I find that the easiest way for me to step across these two rails is to do one big step. Just like that. First time you're walking on ballast, you might find it a little bit difficult just with all the stones, so it's really important that you do take your time. One more step, you're now back in your place of safety. Getting your balance, and then just turn around and come back. When you're ready.
I don't know why I'm wimping out about this, because obviously people do it every week and no one's ever got injured. So I don't know why I'm wimping, but I am. Be glad when it's over, to be honest. Okay.
As Jackie practices on the dummy track, duty manager Bob Russell has to face the real thing. He's been called out to oversee some urgent track work on the central line.
We've got a CCTV failure at Bank. I'm on my way out to meet some engineers. They'll get on the track and hopefully deal with the problem.
On the central line, cameras transmit pictures into the train cabs through an aerial on the track. This allows drivers to see any problems on the platforms as they depart. At Bank, a fault with a connector in the tunnel means pictures are not being received in the driver's cab.
CCTV is a product of one-person operation. Years ago when we had guards, the guard would see the train out of the platform. Now the driver does it himself via the CCTV.
Bob must get the problem fixed quickly. Without the CCTV, his drivers are blind. He gets final clearance from the line controller.
All right, we take the next one.
Number 7.
Number 7. OK, we'll use that one.
All right, mate, lovely.
OK, no more than 5 minutes on track.
OK.
It won't really affect the service, but we'll slow the trains down behind, but we'll only stop for 3 or 4 minutes. All right, come through, will you? Yeah, go through. We want to check the track.
Track engineering usually occurs in the middle of the night, but in emergencies, work can be carried out during the day while traction current is on and trains are running. Bob and the Metronet engineers begin to search the track.
Down there between the second and third rails there is an aerial. Now somewhere there's a break in it. That's what we've got to try and find.
I thought I'd heard a rumour somebody found the track walk. There have been people that have got on the track walk and they've frozen in the middle of the track. Just because they were obviously so scared of what was going on around them.
I was just terrified that I'm going to freeze and just, you know, muck everything up.
Jackie's fears are not unfounded. Last year, 4 members of the public died trespassing on the rails.
Why would you go on a track anyway?
If there was some debris that needed to be removed, if you were operating section switches, if someone had got lost on the track and you were having to do a track search.
All right, okay. But you wouldn't do this in a tube, would you?
In a tunnel,
you
would do it with traction current off.
Yeah.
There are exceptions to the rule.
There he is. Oh, there it is, yeah. Creep a bit more, can you? A bit more. Bit more. Bit more. Bit more. Bit more. Whoa, stop, hold it. Right there, stop.
Found it?
Yeah.
First time, can't be bad. Well, it's a good job these guys know what they're doing. They're inches away from 630 volts there. Mind you, it's quicker than wasting time taking the traction current off, doing the work and then putting it back on again.
With a train full of passengers, Bob can't let the engineers work for long.
How long will it take up? 2 minutes.
2 minutes back.
Luckily, this problem can be patched up with simple household insulating tape.
Oh, mate, cheers. Switching back on. Right, we're all finished down on the track here. The pictures are working, so all secured, everything's done.
Great stuff, no problem.
So as far as I'm concerned, we can go back to the office. All done.
It's crunch time for Jackie and the other trainees as the instructor leads them to the track.
Every time I go down onto the track with a group of delegates, there's always that fear in my mind about what could possibly happen, that sort of fear factor of, well, what's going to happen today. Well, see, this is the track where we're going to be walking, so we need to be aware traction current is on, trains are running. Okay? They will be running both on the westbound and on the eastbound. They look bigger from here, don't they?
Certainly do.
Facing the dangers of 200-ton trains and electrified track, will mother of 6 Jackie make it in one piece? Facing her worst fears, trainee Jackie is about to walk across the 630-volt rails.
I haven't told the children what I'm doing, no. Because they would worry, they know what I'm like. It is against my instinct, because I am Mrs. Safe. I've always been the good girl, always done the right thing, and you wouldn't find me playing on tracks or anywhere that's dangerous.
As the trainees acknowledge the driver, all Jackie can think about is the live track that powers the train.
glad that's over. Don't want to do that again. I'm glad it's over.
Well done. Give yourself a round.
Round of applause.
After 4 weeks of intensive training, Jackie Blanchard is taking her final assessment. A pass will mean she qualifies as a customer service assistant.
It's a really important exam. If you do fail it under 65%, then you're out of course. I need to pass this big time.
Jackie is one of 500 women who've successfully applied to work for the Underground this year. In 1969, it wasn't so easy for the Tube's first female train driver, Hannah Dadds.
First lady of the Underground. Years ago, before women's lib, and the transport wanted to try the women on the train. And the unions said they couldn't do the job. Anyway, I proved them all wrong. I could do it.
Hannah is one of 180 women achievers invited to lunch with the Queen.
Do you think the Queen might become a train driver as well?
No, she wouldn't get past the medical now.
There you go. Perfect.
What was your reaction when you had a letter saying, you know, come to Buckingham Palace?
I think it is an honour. I say I come from the East End of London, bred and born, and I think it's an honour for someone like me to go. Apparently, the train's run in better service since there's been more women drivers. It's us women done it.
It's really good. I got 99%. I'm really pleased. Shame about the one.
Okay. Well done, Jackie. One for King's Cross and one for yourself.
Thank you very much.
Okay. You take care. Nice.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Can't stop grinning. Is she a cat?
But there's no time for celebrations. Next day, Jackie has to get used to her new home, King's Cross St Pancras. With over 200,000 customers passing through every day, it's the Tube's biggest interchange station. Supervisor Paul Harper is giving Jackie the guided tour.
That's the staff assembly point.
Oh, okay.
Evacuation, down there. Nah, it's good here actually, it's fun. Your day goes a lot quicker and you will enjoy it if you like people.
I don't mind it being busy, and as long as I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, no, you won't get left on your hands the first week.
So my biggest worry is it's going to, you know, it's going to go berserk and I'm just going to be useless. It's platform 1. Oh, here we are, look. See the Hammersmith and City up here? If you follow the signs to that, then you will
Go
find
through
your
there.
way.
Turn left,
Okay?
up the escalator. Good girl.
She didn't look very happy though.
That's all right, don't worry
My
about
first unsatisfied customer there.
We get there.
I didn't do that very well.
We do get there, don't we?
It's time for Hannah's royal appointment.
I'm going to see Buckingham Palace from the inside as well as the outside, and not just looking through railings. I am going to go in style. I'm now getting excited. I'm now going in there to speak to Her Majesty and lots of people, which I'm looking forward to.
Jackie's tour is getting more complex.
Platform 1 is your westbound H&C, Met and Circle.
Okay.
Platform 2 is the outer rail, Circle.
I'm going to have to write this down.
Platform 3 is northbound Victoria. Platform 4, southbound Victoria. Platform 5, I'd call it the westbound Piccadilly. Platform 6, call it the eastbound. Platform 7 is your northbound Northern Line. Platform 8, southbound Northern Line. So if they want to get to Charing Cross, how are you going to send them?
I'm going to send them on... I can't remember.
It was great. It's lovely. This should have been a little girl's dream who dreamed of being a train driver, and this happening happy ever after. But it's never my dream to start with, but it's a dream that I've now had, and it's been true, so it wasn't a dream. It's been lovely, really lovely.
out the escalators 1, 2, 3. Go from the Northern Concourse to the Piccadilly Concourse. 4, 5, 6 are these ones here.
Right.
7, 8, 9, no 8, 7 and 9, Victoria line that side. Right, they go down. So number 8's coming in, this is why we're down here. So we're going down the dark, come on. I mean, these are antiquated, they're a little bit on the old side. Spanner? This is for hand winding.
No, it isn't.
It is, honest.
Wow, why do you have to hand wind it?
Well, if you get stuck in that, how would you prefer to come out? Would you prefer me to press a little button and make it go backwards in the hope that, you know, or nice and gently hand wind it?
Oh, I see.
So that we take your little fingers or your head out gently. Ladies first, we'll leave the
Thank you
stuff
very
behind.
much. I'm going to go home and do lots of homework. This is essential. I've got to know this stuff, so I've got to learn it quick. Otherwise, I'm going to sink. So I need to go home, study my map, study the platforms. At least I could know that, couldn't I?
She's got a busy couple of weeks ahead of her. I mean, a busy couple of weeks. She'll learn a lot, and she'll either learn quickly or slowly. Hopefully quickly.
It's just massive, absolutely massive place. That's all I can think of it. Am I ever going to learn it? I don't know.
Next time, Jackie faces the realities of life at King's Cross.
There's a fight going on platform number 1.
It's a fight? Platform 1? Platform 1?
And there's a suicide attempt at Victoria.
He just got down on the track and kneeled down in front of me. I thought I was going over him, but this one's got quite good brakes on it.
On the tube, station assistant Jackie's in at the deep end.
There's a fight going on
It's a fight? Platform 1?
And there's a suicide attempt at Victoria.
He just got down on the track and kneeled down in front of me. I thought I was going over him, but this one's got quite good brakes on it.
London Underground is the world's oldest metro system. Built in the late 1800s, early 1900s, the network now strains to cope with the pressure of 1 billion passengers a year. That's over 3 million journeys a day. 4 weeks ago, mother of 6 Jackie Blanchard had only used the tube a handful of times. Now fully trained as a customer service assistant, she has her work cut out for her.
This is it. This is day 1. I'm in the King's Cross area. It's very nerve-wracking.
King's Cross St Pancras is the busiest station and the biggest interchange on the entire tube network. 6 different lines converge and over 200,000 people use the station every day.
Okay. It's getting busy, isn't it? I'm really useless. I had this really weird dream last night that I was on a platform and this farmer got off the train with 2 cows. I was going, you can't come on here with 2 cows, mate.
As the rush hour builds, Jackie has to deal with her first problem. A train is stuck in the Piccadilly line platform.
Oh, the train's been held here.
Oh dear. This train is held up? Why is that?
I think I've got a problem at Leicester Square.
What the driver is saying is not, he can't actually confirm this, but there's a, it could be a defective train at Leicester Square.
Oh, right.
So this train's been held here.
Station supervisor Paul Harper is called to the scene.
Okay, I'm on my way. This is my headache, my nightmare, yeah. Man, now keeping our eye on it, see how things go.
With over 1,000 people on the packed train, there's some bad news from the line control centre.
Computers just come up that they've suspended the
The service is temporarily suspended, so the staff must work quickly. They close the platform gates to prevent dangerous overcrowding.
So just let people out?
Yeah, anyone when the trains come off, we'll let them out this one and that one.
If it gets too bad, we'll have to clear the platform and try and get people to use alternative routes at the moment.
Not this way, madam, please.
It's going to be a long journey home for these travellers.
Westbound Piccadilly line service temporarily suspended. If you're travelling to Green Park, please use the Piccadilly line.
And this train will be held here for some time. Customers should seek alternative routes. Customers
Wishing to travel down towards Green Park, please use the Victoria line for platform number 3.
You have to take a bus, madam, and I'm only training, so I don't know which one. But if you go up to the top, somebody would help you with what bus to get to.
The Piccadilly line may be out of action, but it's the Central line that's hit the front page. A train has derailed at White City, and the Central line has been completely suspended between North Acton and Marble Arch. It's the fourth derailment on the Underground in 16 months, and all eyes are on troubleshooter Bob Thorogood.
2 sets of wheels derailed over a set of points as it was approaching the westbound platform. There were no injuries amongst the customers or staff. Having said that, I've no doubt that a lot of customers had a very unhappy journey home this evening.
Bob's under pressure from all angles.
I'm not going to make it yet. You better have something to eat. I meant to phone you a little while ago, but I've got tied up in it. That was my wife. My dinner's just gone in the dog. Yeah. After 43 years, she's understanding, yeah.
Last year, a derailment closed the entire Central line for almost 2 months. The Underground's emergency response unit are trying to re-rail the train and establish what happened.
They've jacked the train up to slide those wheels back over the rails. And what they've done now is they've fitted that blue skate underneath one of the wheels that came off to lift it up and stop that wheel turning on the rail and therefore allow us to get it back to the depot. But obviously once we move the train, if we find all sorts of things that we can't at the moment see, that might change the game.
Rush hour is still disrupted at King's Cross, but finally there's some good news for Supervisor Paul Harper.
Now that train on platform 5 should be moving shortly. We should have a service.
Right, looks like we're going to get a through service again. They've got the defective one moved from Leicester Square. We should get away with it. Keep moving down to the platform, please. Keep moving down, please. Teamwork.
That was good teamwork. Yeah. Hope that don't happen too often.
Frequently, I'm afraid.
Does it really?
I think that's done her the world of good, probably. She's thrown her in right at the deep end, isn't it? She couldn't have had a better day for it today.
Well, that was a rush hour over with, so I'm hoping that's the last of that. Dear me, imagine doing that every day. Oh, well, I better get used to it, I suppose, because I didn't know what to do. I hope it's like 6 weeks' time. I'm really slick and really cool at what I'm doing, but it just seems so far away. I just feel so lost.
But there's no rest for Bob as his team try to move the damaged train.
All clear?
Yeah, all clear. Everybody's aware that we're about to recharge current, yes? Okay.
I expect there'll be a bit of squeaking and grinding. It'll only move very slowly, but we'll move it in okay. Come on, train, move! Moving it into the platform would be good, guys. Go on, baby. Go on, baby. Oh, I tell you what, it's good nervous. Make sure he gets right in. We want to clear this track at the back. Tell him going to the normal stopping mark.
Bob now has a chance to assess the damage to the track. After the last tube derailment on the Northern Line, it took 4 months to fully repair the rails.
It doesn't look that there is major damage to the track form there, and we're going to be able to recover the situation and operate a near normal service on the Central Line tomorrow morning.
Luckily for Bob and his team, it looks like disaster has been averted and the central line will be back in service for tomorrow's 640,000 customers. It's Saturday, and at Seven Sisters, 10,000 football fans are arriving for a Premiership match between Tottenham and Arsenal. Keeping these bitter rivals apart on the tube is the unenviable task of the British Transport Police.
This fixture is always a high-profile event due to the historical dislike between both sets of supporters. There's some intelligence to indicate that some of the risk supporters may be carrying weapons. Don't want anybody getting isolated, wandering off by themselves. Make sure you're with somebody at all times.
PC's Craig Hare and Paul Hendra are on the lookout for potential troublemakers before the match starts.
We've just been informed that a Section 60's been authorised, which basically gives us the power to stop and search people to look for weapons, because we believe there may be pre-planned disorder prior to the match. We're looking for knives, we're looking for baseball bats, you're looking for pens, you're looking for concealed weapons, knuckle dusters, anything, absolutely anything.
No weapons were found on these fans.
Out of a possible 30,000 people, you've managed to search a tow. How's that meant to stop?
Your words to me, but don't rush. Take your time. You can't have it all.
Absolutely, mate. No, you're quite right.
Thank you.
But with thousands of rival fans about to descend on Seven Sisters, the day is far from over. At Seven Sisters, the British Transport Police are waiting for Tottenham fans to return from their clash with rivals Arsenal. The game has been drawn, but the result means Arsenal have won the Premiership. Passions are running high. Although the game is finished, for some fans, the match is not over.
There's still 1,000 Spurs supporters hanging around the stadium. Yeah, and they've been cordoned off and segregated by the police to keep them apart, so we've still got quite a lot of people to come back from the station.
Right.
And there's been a little bit of sporadic disorder around the ground and the surrounding streets, just people running around really. So we don't know where those people are going, whether they're going to go to Tottenham Hale Station or whether they're going to come down to Seven Sisters. So until the stadium and the surrounding streets are completely clear of fans, we need to keep a presence at the station just in case they turn up here.
Even with the news that thousands of Arsenal supporters have just been escorted to nearby Tottenham Hale Station, the Seven Sisters team still can't relax.
We've got 2,000 Arsenal fans that have just got on at Tottenham Hale, and obviously the train's going to come past here. We've got a lot of Spurs fans on the platforms down here, so if the train stops, it's a potential flashpoint for disorder. So we're going to go down on the platforms. It's not actually meant to be stopping, the train's meant to be non-stopping. So we're just going to make sure that that happens.
Police regularly use the underground system to keep rival fans segregated.
Move along the platform, please.
Dedicated trains are used as movable crowd control barriers.
The next train through this platform will be non-stop.
This train's a non-stop, it's the one with all of the Arsenal on.
The platform is packed with Tottenham fans as the train full of Arsenal fans pulls in.
The sergeant there caught somebody kicking the train, what the Arsenal supporters were on. I mean, you saw them as they were on the platforms, banging the door, trying to provoke them. I think if the doors had opened, we might have had a serious public order situation all around.
The crowds have dispersed, but the police are in no hurry to leave.
Wait, there's another one in a minute. What are you doing? I'm taking you away from the train, mate. It's an offence to stick your foot in the door, all right? Is it really? Yes, it is. Well, you'll get on the next one, won't you?
In no hurry to leave.
Wait, there's another one in a minute. Look what you doing. I'm taking you away from the train, mate, and the fence to stick your foot in the door, all right? Is it really? Yes, it is. Well, you'll get on the next one, won't you? There's plenty more trains, mate. Get on the next one. Get on the next one.
For most Londoners, Saturday nights are a time to relax and let their hair down. But for underground staff, it can be a very different story. A third of all staff assaults happen on Friday and Saturday evenings. It's now been a month since Jackie Blanchard began work at the Underground's busiest station, King's Cross. It's been a real eye-opener.
4 weeks into it, and it's a lot harder than you think. It's a lot harder than you think. To be honest, I was shocked at how rude people are. I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. I think it's incredible. I mean, whoever said the British people don't complain must have been a hermit in a cage, because he just obviously doesn't get out here, because they do nothing but moan and whinge.
We're going to Hammersmith on the westbound anyway.
They come every minute, these trains. Every 3 minutes these trains come.
No, you're in the world.
Leon, mate, I'll help you. There you go. Really nice people turn into, you know, just mad men or women. They're just mad. Foaming. Aggression.
Station Supervisor Paul Harper has been keeping an eye on Jackie's progress.
The ones that come here do get a culture shock, I think. Well, it can be quite pleasant, it can be a nightmare. I don't think she's had any major problems yet. Have you, Jackie? Yeah, no major problems yet, have you? No, I mean, since you've been here.
No major problems. Nothing major.
Pardon?
I got called that a couple of times, and a cow, actually. That's why you have to be tough-skinned, I suppose. I don't mind that, anyway. But 4 hours of it, and you begin to think that there's no kindness in the world again. There's no kindness.
At Edgware Road, duty manager Andy Hogg is in charge of trains and drivers on the Circle Line.
Edgware Road.
There's been an attempted suicide, or one under, at Victoria. The driver has taken the train out of service and is on his way back to base.
Can you bring him in at platform 3 and hold him? I don't know if he's going to be in a fit state to carry on. At the moment, we've got no spares. He's desperately trying to put one away early and get a driver back. Because that's going to completely shaft us for the night, if he wants to leave the train here. Some drivers it affects quite severely. Some drivers, it's nothing, it's part of the job. He's running the train empty, which gives you a fair indication that he's shaken up. We may have to get him a cab and send him home. His mental health is my first priority.
For this driver, it's not the first time it's happened.
It never rains, but it pours. How you feeling? Very shaky, yeah?
Just brought it all back from your previous one under.
From the under. Okay. Right, what I'll do is I'll run down with you down to Hammer. Off we go.
It was 2/3 of the way round, and I was slowing the train down anyway because I never come in there fast. And he just looked at me and he just got down. And
So you actually saw him climb down? He wasn't already on the track when you actually came into the platform?
No. It was about from here to there when I saw him, and he just looked at me and he just got down on the track and kneeled down in front of me. Of course, straight away the emergency, and I literally stopped about 10 to 15 foot from him. I thought I was going over him, but this one's got quite good, one of the better ones, got good brakes on it. I called straight into the controller, called out a mayday, got the traction current discharged, and just as the controller confirmed to me, the young kid put both his hands on the positive and negative rail like that. He must have been, I reckon, 12 to 16. He was only young. He got down on the track, and when he didn't fry, he started crying.
Amazing. Now just take deep breaths, calm down, try and relax. Let's get the train away and we'll get back to Edgware Road and we can just sit down and have a cuppa and have a chat about it, okay?
I've been a driver myself, and I've been in the situation that Alan's in. It's a bit of a shock. I mean, I've had 3 platform strikes where I've actually hit people actually on the platform itself. I think the shock comes because it's instantaneous. There's no prior warning, it just happens and you've got to deal with it straight away. Especially if someone jumps in front of you. Luckily, Alan was on the ball today and he managed to apply all the brakes and stop the train. But we had situations where people jump in front and there's nothing the driver can do and you feel completely impotent to do anything about it. The only thing you do is hit the brakes and just look away.
But there's no let-up for Jackie.
There's a fight going on platform number 1.
It's a fight? Platform 1? Platform 1? I don't mind drunk people, but the younger ones are more aggressive, and I don't like that. I don't like the aggression that comes out in them, and they're unpredictable then.
We've just been assaulted on a train.
Okay. Do you want a first aider?
Yeah, who's just assaulted us on a
First aider,
train?
mate.
What?
Do you want a first aider, sir? I actually felt sorry for the girls. They were very shaken. People get very aggressive if they've had too much to drink. You only have to look at them the wrong way, and that's what happens. Any train, mate? Be good, take care. Do you want some help?
I just didn't feel confident about keeping the train in service, especially after what's happened. It's, you know, the shock as well, and the majority of the passengers were all right. As I say, there was a couple come up to me and said, "You want to take the train out of service?" And I tried to explain to them why me.
Some train operators never drive again after a 1-under. Andy is keen to get driver Alan Jacks back in the cab.
My main concern now is basically Alan's welfare, to calm him down. Initially get all the information out of him so that we can write a full report. He's going to do that for us. Get any more details off you. He won't carry on the rest of his duty. I mean, I wouldn't let him carry on the rest of his duty because I think he's too shaken up. I've seen people never drive a train again. Other people wouldn't even have detrained their passengers, would just carry on. It all depends on the individual person.
After having your first 1-under, which was 5 years ago, even now, when I come into platforms and you see someone right on the edge, you're thinking, is he or isn't he? You know what I mean?
Yep, sign your life away.
Yeah. They had to drag him off the track. He didn't come off of his own accord. They had to drag him off the track. And that's when he started shouting and hollering and waving his arms and everything, so...
Yeah. Okay. The district line, Charlie and the Don, are incredibly impressed with what you did. And from what you told me and from what they've told me, it was only because you got the mayday out quick. But when you actually did touch the juice rail, you'd actually got the traction out discharged, you really delayed, he could well be dead. So on their request, I'm going to be writing you up for accommodation, okay, for your actions, for your swift actions, okay? Because it's only your swift actions that these guys are still with us, okay? One thing to remember, I don't think this is something that's going to eat you great away. I don't think you're that sort of person. Knowing you personally, I don't think you're that sort of person. But if it does, don't suffer in silence. There are people here to help you, and we want to help you because we want to, Okay. Let's get your cab and get you home. We've got now Alan, who's suffering post-traumatic stress. He could be off for a couple of weeks, we never know. I've now been tied up for 2 or 3 hours, and I've got to write the report and the paperwork. We had a train that had to go empty from Victoria right the way round to Hammersmith without passengers, which cost money. So that adds up to, well, you do the maths, several £1,000s worth of cost. All because I jumped down in front of a train and wanted to kill himself.
At King's Cross, the last trains of the night are about to depart.
I was really expecting it to be bad. It's been okay. I mean, there has been some ugly moments, but they didn't involve me, so so I think I've got off lightly. That's how I feel. I've actually got off lightly. I was so excited that I got this job at London Underground. So excited. Now it's like reality check time. I don't want it to get me down. That is one of the things that worries me, is that I'm just going to end up some sort of old cynic, you know. I don't want to end up like that. I want to overcome it. I want to overcome it.
After a tough start, Jackie has settled in and is now looking forward to a long career on the tube.
Little update there, madam, on how...
Next time, customers reach breaking point at Brixton.
Basically, it feels like this station will never, ever, ever be finished.
And a surprise visitor at Canary Wharf.
I said, very welcome to Canary Wharf Station. I think I need a cigarette now.
Yeah.
On the tube, customers are at breaking point at Brixton.
Basically, it feels like this station will never, ever, ever be finished.
And Jason has a surprise visitor.
Welcome to Canary Wharf Station. I think I need a cigarette now.
In London, you're never far from a tube station. As diverse as London itself, the Underground's 275 stations range from sleepy suburban havens to frantic hives of activity. With anything between 1 person to 28,000 people an hour passing through the stations, life for the staff can be unpredictable and hectic.
This station is
At Brixton Station, one of the busiest on the Underground, they have their own particular problems to contend with. Concerts at the legendary Brixton Academy present their own challenges to station supervisor Monty Montiero.
Wembley Park.
When there's a concert, you'll find that you'll have probably about 5 or 6 ticket outs on the booking hall. They will also operate downstairs on the platform. As you can see, people are now starting to come to the cross passage, and they advertising that they've got tickets to sell.
Mandy Sahota has been working at Brixton as a station assistant for 2.5 years.
It is quite a rough station. You do get a lot of abuse. People tend to be rude, and you do get a lot of people, obviously, they want to throw punches, meet you after work, do this, do that, but that's just life. You do get some arrogant people.
Monty has developed a thick skin when dealing with troublesome ticket touts.
Could you do us a favour, please, and make your way upstairs? Yeah, Francie, can you send a BTP downstairs, British Transport Police, because I've been given the ring around downstairs. Platform 1, will you make your way upstairs out of the station?
I'm travelling, mate.
You're not driving here, you make out the station.
Travelling.
If you don't leave the station, the Transport Police will arrest you.
Travelling, I've got
That's fine, we wait until the police comes down, yeah?
What are you driving people mad, mate?
I'm asking you very politely if you came to have a seat, yeah? Come on, come upstairs. You're not going to go anywhere. Some of them get very aggressive. Of course, if they have something to drink, it's, you know, always leave plenty space between yourself and the person you're asking to, you know, move. Because otherwise, if you're too near arm's length, you probably end up getting thumped.
But touts are only one of Brixton's worries. The station's £26 million overhaul and renovations over the past 4 years have been dogged with problems. The main staircase has had to be completely rebuilt. Then they found that the ceiling of the ticket hall was contaminated with asbestos. And because of power problems, they still can't turn on their newly installed escalator. From a porter cabin behind the station, Group Station Manager Paul Jessett is overseeing the project.
There are times when we're all tearing our hair out and we all think, oh, when is this going to end? I thought it would be over in 2.5 to 3 years, but unfortunately we're still here 4.5 years later.
Little update there, madam, on how we're doing with the project.
I spend quite a lot of time downstairs just talking to people when they come through, and they just want to kill me and throw me down the escalator that's not open. So I take the ups and the downs. So part goes with the territory.
So when's it going to finish?
May 2005. There's a little leaflet there with a few bullet points on there, which may be helpful for you.
Okay, well that's the main problem. Basically, it feels like this station will never, ever be finished.
Oh no, that's
okay,
how I
that's
feel.
the issue.
Yeah. We really are coming to the end of it now.
All right, well, you know, seeing is believing.
Okay. That wasn't too bad. Got away with that lightly.
At London Underground's flagship station, Canary Wharf, it's a very different story.
You walk into a station like Canary Wharf and you're in complete awe at the sheer size and scale of it. If you look at all the underground stations and consider them as churches, Canary Wharf is the cathedral.
The responsibility for serving the fastest growing financial district in the world falls on the shoulders of 31-year-old Irishman Jason Collins.
I'm proud, I'm very proud of the station, I love it. And I love the hustle and bustle. And when things go wrong as well, you know, a lot of people, you know, tend to get stressed out. To me, that's the time when I most enjoy the job.
And the next week will be very stressful for Jason. Although half of his station is already in use, the east end of the station has never seen a passenger. Hidden from public view are 3 new entrances and 9 new escalators, which the Mayor, Ken Livingstone, is coming to open in just a few days. With a lot of the work still unfinished, Jason's deadline is looming fast.
There's the time factor, the financial factor, and also the corporate pressure factor. So there's very little room for error. I've had, 2 days off in the last 6 weeks?
The corporate investors are bearing down on him. The new Barclays Bank headquarters is ready to open at the end of the month.
We're going to have 6,000 people starting work in that building, the first of which from a couple of weeks' time. So, as you can see, that's one of the main reasons why it's so crucial to get this end of the station open. We've got to get our act together, and if we don't open up in time for Barclays, I'm sure Mr. Barclay himself will be pretty upset at us. I'm sure Mike Buckner will have a thing or two to say about it. That's 36 stories of pressure, and you feel it.
At Brixton, they too are feeling the pressure. But Station Supervisor Monty has little faith in the system.
Well, they said they're going to do something next week. I always say, which week though? It's always which week. It's never next week. For some reason with London Underground, it seems that it takes much longer to get something done.
The problem that we've got is that we've got a very busy station, and we had 2 escalators with a fixed stair in the middle. And we've put everybody out for the best part of 2.5 years, and what we've given them back is 2 escalators with a fixed stair in the middle.
This is our famous escalator, being used at the moment as a fixed stairs. Reason why it's been used as a fixed stairs is because we still haven't got enough power to run it. Once it gets a power supply, it'll run. Is that dog fit enough to go all the way up the stairs?
Here, I'll take the stairs, you take the dog.
Oh, I like this. Now I've got to take the dog up. Come on.
That's safe. Come on. This is called animal safety, animal security.
The things I've got to do for the underground, I don't know.
The broken escalator just makes life harder for staff. Monty has bet his boss 6 cans of Coke that it'll never be finished in time.
We still got that.
We've got to test it.
We still got that 6 cans Coke that you'll run about 6.17 a month.
6 cans of Coke you're going to buy me?
Nah.
I'm sure that my 6 Cokes are safe. I haven't lost one yet anyway.
But Brixton is not beyond repair. Aldwych is one of the Underground's 43 abandoned stations.
It was closed in 1994 for 2 main reasons. Number one, small number of people in service, and secondly, the lifts need several £1 million to put back in working order.
Barry Wilkinson has been looking after Aldwych for 5 years.
The only access now is by a long spiral staircase. No one enjoys going up and down the stairs.
Right, so we carry on down here.
I'm showing a couple of film people from London Weekend Television who are interested in seeing the aspects of the station that are connected with the Blitz. Right, there were originally two platforms here. This platform down here during the war would have been used for people sheltering from the Blitz. The other platform, it's our understanding that that was used for the storage of various treasures, possibly including the Elgin marbles. It was built, we think, for the theatre traffic, but was obviously wildly too much even in those days, there being other stations very nearby. So this didn't last very long at all, a matter of about 8 or 9 years. Now, I personally can always imagine something horrible coming down there, like in a horror film. This station was built on the site of the theatre, and allegedly the leading lady of the theatre haunts it down here. I've never encountered or experienced anything, but I have heard stories of people who have.
With Ken Livingstone coming to open the east end of Canary Wharf Station in just 4 days, Jason is gearing himself up for the final safety inspections.
You cleaned the glass on the inside. Tomorrow we got the visit by our 2 different sets of inspectors. They'll come around, they'll inspect every single area. If I don't manage to satisfy the inspectors, well, the actual opening date will have to be put back. Sorry. Cheers. There's very little room for error. If one escalator here at the entrance to the new end of the station becomes unavailable, opening is not an option, and my job's on the line. So at this stage, the next 24 hours are absolutely crucial.
There is one big problem they face, the new gate line.
We've got a software problem that's preventing these gates from operating the way they should, and if they're not operating the way they should, we've got an issue. We need our gates fully functional, fully operational, so we can introduce crowd control. If we don't have them working for the inspectors tomorrow, we're going to have some serious explaining to do. Failure is not an option.
At Canary Wharf, the Railway Inspectorate are about to arrive, and although the problem with the gate line has been resolved, there's lots of unfinished work. Group Station Manager Jason Collins is not happy.
As you can see behind me, we've still got hazard tape around, and we've got no entry signs. We've got areas without doors on it. We've got a huge cradle machine stored here, which isn't satisfactory. This is going to be a public area within a few days. If I was the railway inspector coming on to see a complete station, I wouldn't be very happy. If it doesn't go well today, well, next Monday it could be looking a distant dream, but the next few hours are going to be very crucial.
After 4 hours of inspections, they finally break the news to Jason.
What are you up, boys? Consent for trial office. We got permission. Next Monday, boys.
Excellent.
Superb. Brilliant. Yeah, hasn't quite sunk in yet. Maybe after I play a bit of basketball this evening, I'll have a drink. Just celebrate.
At Brixton, the predicted date for the opening of the new escalator has been and gone.
Brixton new escalator. I've been waiting for 2 years.
31st of March. 31st of March.
Not guaranteed, of course. Like I said before, anything is impossible or possible. Thank you, Paul. You're a gentleman. Put it there.
I don't like giving it to you. It means I'm wrong. Another 3 weeks.
I got my Cokes. 6 cans of Cokes.
3 weeks and it'll be in service. And if it's not, I'm not giving you another 6 cans.
Nah.
Barry Wilkinson's disused underground station is about to be host to a private party organised by a photographic agency.
People who are coming are actually really excited to come because they haven't been in the station for ages. So they all want to see what it looks like and has it changed. I think this is Barry's second home. He really has an attachment to it.
This type of event is superb because it's a cultural event. We've also had the production of plays on, also things like book launches, and believe it or not, I've even had one wedding reception here and another one coming fairly soon. Excellent, isn't it? Particularly that one with the pilgrims at Mecca. Yes, I think that's superb. That gentleman's somewhat recognisable, I suppose. But I'm not sure who some of these young ladies are.
The party at Aldwych goes on into the night. But at the end of the Victoria line at Brixton, the staff have to cope when drunken passengers fall asleep on the trains.
We all have different techniques. We usually nudge them on their feet to sort of wake them up. Monty sort of just pinches them, does a little pinch on the ear, and they sort of like wake up in a shot.
Aha! Sleepy beauties. Hello? Hello? Wakey! Nice to be asleep. Wait, wake up, wake up, wake up. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on, come on. You awake yet? Come on. Hey, Sleepy Beauty. Come on. Wake up. You're holding up the train. Come on, come on. Hey, come on. Wake up. Here you goes, open up. Out you go. Yeah, go away, go away. You go and get a bit of fresh air, and then if you're all right...
You need a strap on?
Yeah. You go, hold yourself, hold yourself. Come on. Okay, good night, good night. Good night.
What I always say to people is you shouldn't really travel if you're that drunk. Don't get that bad unless you're with a group of people. Because a lot of the time, there are regular pickpockets that do travel the trains. And they will get their hands on your stuff, especially when they see you like that.
As from 1300 hours today, the east end of Canary Wharf Station will be opened.
They'll be finished at about 6:20 this morning. Just getting the last infill done and stuff. But all in all, very, very happy.
Today, Jason Collins is host to a station full of dignitaries and top brass from London Underground.
I'm Jason Collins, Group Station Manager. Nice to meet you at last. How's things?
Even the managing director, Tim O'Toole, is close at hand.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Jason, I just want to tell you what a great job you've done.
Cheers, Tim.
Really
Thanks a million.
spectacular.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Gives people a lot of confidence.
Cheers. Well, first money we say. There we go.
Yeah,
I think I need a cigarette now.
They're awaiting the opening of the east end of the station by the Mayor of London, Ken Livingstone.
How do you, Mr. Mayor? Nice and very welcome to Canary Wharf Station.
I hope it's not going to get too windy now. Both entrances are open.
During the winter, we'll notice it now with the
During the
easterly
winter,
wind.
they can all have long johns paid for by Underground.
There we go. You heard it first here. Okay.
The Mayor will open the station by starting one of the new escalators.
So far, so good. Just everything seems to be going okay. But let's just hope the escalator starts now. That's the main thing.
At Brixton, the day has finally come to get their new escalator moving. It's the culmination of a 2.5-year wait for Paul Jessett.
We're on the eve of actually switching it on and letting customers use it for the first time. I can't believe it. It seems to have taken an age. I've actually got butterflies. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
landmark
long
day.
waiting, isn't it, this month?
Look at all these people waiting to use it. Look.
I'd like to just simply say thank you to everyone who's worked to get this done, to do it on time. I'm delighted to be here and formally declare the eastern end of the station open. Now I'm hoping it will work when I turn.
reality. Now we're actually open. I'm Jason Collins, Group Station Manager. You're very welcome. Okay, thank you. How are you doing, sir?
Congratulations, sir.
Cheers. Well done, well done. Let's go, folks. Station to run. We've got a station to run.
Yes.
So, back to day-to-day business, which would be good.
I've forgotten how to do this. I'll just put it in there. Key doesn't fit, Steve. Oh no. God, look at that. Never thought I'd see it happen. Here we go. Number 2's up and running. And I'm going to go and get on it. Oh, wonderful. Oh, it's lovely. Smooth. Oh, you could have your tea off of this. Absolutely. See the look of satisfaction on her face.
So, all is well at Brixton and everything looking good for the future. After 4 years of problems and misery, it seems the end is finally in sight. Or is it? Only a week later, escalator number 3 gives up the ghost.
It's disappointing to see that we haven't got all 3 running, but at least we had the 3 running for a week.
For Monty, it's just another cross he has to bear.
And we're back to 2 escalators again. That's something that is always going to happen on the underground. And after 28 years, you get used to it.
Next time, the heat is on for the Piccadilly Line engineers.
Good for making toasted sandwiches on when you bring your lunch up.
And there's a bomb scare at Cockfosters.
I'm not happy with it. I'm just thinking about the current climate and what recent events in Iraq.
On the tube, the heat is on for the Piccadilly Line engineers.
Good for making toasted sandwiches on when you bring your lunch up.
And there's a bomb scare at Cockfosters.
I'm not happy with it. I'm just thinking about the current climate and what recent events in Iraq.
London Underground's 600 tube trains each travel over 70,000 miles every year. Bearing the weight of each 200-ton train is the track, over 500 miles of it. It needs constant attention and renewal. A massive engineering operation is beginning on the Piccadilly Line track between Acton Town and Heathrow. It's been 30 years since this track has been renewed, and over the coming weekends, 4,000 tons of ballast, 1,600 sleepers, and over 1,300 meters of new track will be put in place. They've suspended the service while the rails are taken out and replaced. Making sure it all runs to schedule is site engineer Neil Cormack.
I'd be most put out if I was trying to get Heathrow this weekend. I can understand the frustrations, but the ride on the train will be a lot better. That's the only consolation I can give people. The amount of work we have to do is a lot to be fitted in between the time the trains finish on a Friday evening to when they start again on a Monday morning. It's quite exhilarating. It's a constant go for the 12-hour shifts that we do. It's very rare you actually get a chance to sit down and have a cup of tea. Fimbling Rail, mate, it's held down, and how long ago did it finish? It's a very tight window that we're working in. There's not a lot to play with. Not a lot at all.
At the opposite end of the Piccadilly line, near Cockfosters, British Transport Police Officer Neil Stevenson can be called out to deal with any kind of problem.
The call out we've got is a suspect bag that's been left on a train, on a Piccadilly line train. The train's been taken out of service and that train's in the depot at Cockfosters. The current terrorist threat climate is very high. We're going to go up and have a look at this item. We'll assess the situation and then make a call as to what happens.
Last year, over 600 bags were left unattended on underground trains. Safety comes first, especially because it's only 2 weeks since the bombing of 4 commuter trains in Madrid.
Yeah, BX Lima Foxtrot 13. Apparently this item on the train is a rucksack. There has been one previous report of lost property, but that was a briefcase received. We're just going to go and have a look at the said item now and get back to you in due course. It's been here for a good hour and 20 minutes.
The train has been isolated at the far end of the sidings, as far away as possible from passengers and staff.
We've been on the train. It is a rucksack. It's blue and red. I'm not happy with it. No, I'm just thinking about the current climate and what recent events in Iraq. The transport system is an ideal target.
Neil is so unhappy with the bag that he asked for permission to completely close Cockfosters station while the situation is dealt with. Unattended bags cause an average of 2 station evacuations every day.
Roughly the train's there. This is Cockfosters. Yeah. Oakwood is down here. Yeah. The train will be stopped there, turned round. Probably a few angry people, but we don't care about that at the moment. This is more important. And Cockfosters is going to be shut as well. I've made a request for our vehicle to attend. They've got specialist equipment on that vehicle where they can take X-rays, and then if they're not happy with it, then we can start evacuating and treating it as a serious matter and getting bomb disposal people out.
The threat of terrorism is something that all underground staff have to contend with on a daily basis. For Station Supervisor Paul Harper, it's just an occupational hazard.
You worry about it because you don't know when you come to work whether you're going to go home at night now, at the moment. You're not sure. I mean, you know, as I say, we come in, but there's no guarantees we're going to go home if something does go wrong. Hopefully they won't do us, but you never know. It's one of them things.
I'll walk you up and show you where the train is. It's second carriage, the doors are open. Basically 7:20, it was found by a maintenance shunter. And basically it's a rucksack, blue and red rucksack. Sealed right by the interconnecting doors from the second to the first carriage. I've been hearing things like the government saying it's not a matter of if, it's more a case of when, isn't it? They can X-ray that bag, and then if anything with wires shows, that may raise their levels of suspicion. But it's always in the back of your mind, this could be the real thing. But you just get on and do it. If they're not happy with it, then obviously this incident goes on to the next rung on the ladder, which would involve cordoning off the area and possibly calling out explosives officers, bomb disposal.
The track replacement work at Heathrow is so far proceeding without a hitch.
Gary, John Doggett is back at the start of the job. If we walk right the way down to the east end of the site, we're still at the dig. We're just putting in the bottom ballast. If you walk to the middle of the job, we're putting the sleepers in. If you come up to this end of the job where we are now, the rails are in, and then we'll just be putting the assemblies together for the conductor rail. So it's at various stages, but generally we're ahead.
But welding 91-metre lengths of railway track together is no simple process.
It's some aluminothermic process. Sounds good, doesn't it? I haven't got a clue what it means, but it sounds really good. It fascinates me. I've been looking at them for 12 years and they still fascinate me. You're basically putting molten metal into it to form the joint, and then you have to crop it and grind it. So it just forms like a continuous rail. Was it an hour, Gary, in it, for each weld? Good for making toasted sandwiches on when you bring your lunch up. Used to be a welder who used to do that every week. Toasted sandwiches on the leftovers, on the slag bowl.
At Cockfosters, the specialist X-ray unit have examined the suspected bomb. PC Neil Stevenson is anxiously awaiting their findings.
Oh, right. Hey. It's a hooker pipe. A Middle Eastern smoking, you know, the hooker pipe, a hubbly-bubbly pipe. That's what it is. It just seems ironic that it's an item from the Middle East, albeit harmless.
In Northfields, it's an early start for Kevin Kinsella, the man in charge of the Heathrow bus replacement service.
I actually feel sorry for the customers on a weekend like this because the buses do take so much longer than the trains.
Kevin has gathered together a fleet of 35 buses from as far away as the Isle of Wight to cover the suspended tube service from Heathrow to Acton Town. Any passengers expecting a smooth journey this weekend are quickly disappointed.
All coaches to Heathrow, all 4 terminals. Yes, straight down to your left.
Smooth journey this weekend are quickly disappointed.
All coaches to Heathrow, all 4 terminals. Yes, straight down to your left.
We didn't realise it was as bad as this. Very inconvenient, yeah. Trying to find places and ask people where to actually get your fare and tickets and everything, you know, so it's a bit haphazard to say the least, you know.
We've got roughly 15 baggage handlers here, we've got about a dozen information staff, we've got half a dozen queue marshals. This operation is probably the biggest bus operation we have ever done on London Underground.
But a big operation means the potential for big problems. And one has just landed right outside Acton Town Tube in the shape of uninvited roadworks.
I'll tell you what the problem is. We've got a traffic order in Bolo Lane which prohibits stopping and waiting and parking. Southern Electric Contracting have turned up and in the middle of the length of road that we've got the traffic order on have dropped anchor, put some vehicles into the middle of this and a JCB and are digging a hole in the road on temporary traffic lights. They say they've got permission, but in fact they're breaching the traffic order which prohibits all stopping and waiting in Bolo Lane. Now that is going to mean that by 2 o'clock this afternoon, the whole area is going to be at gridlock. It's the ripple effect further out, which we've experienced before, that makes it an absolute pain in the whatever. What will happen is we will eventually run out of buses to run the service. They'll all be stuck in traffic.
Kevin must sort this problem out, or there'll be no way for the thousands of customers who use the line every weekend to get to and from Heathrow. At Acton Town, a handful of road workers are threatening to disrupt the biggest bus replacement service in London Underground's history. Kevin Kinsella has to handle the crisis.
I'm standing with one of your gangs of chaps, and what we're trying to do is to ask for the traffic lights to be removed and for free flow to be established in Bolo Lane. OK, that's brilliant. Thank you for all your help. I'm very grateful. Cheers now. Thank you. Bye. Whew.
Day off.
Sorry, mate.
Oh, no problem to us. No problem. Thank you very much. We have a day off.
With the obstruction removed, Kevin's bus service can run smoothly into the night as the track workers continue. But they're not the only ones working the night shift. A night on the tracks checking signal phones is just another part of the job for duty manager Andy Hogg.
Hello mate, it's Instant DMT across the road. I hope you're not wanting to get some kit tonight. I've got a few signal phones to check. We'll go out on the track. Myself and my colleagues have, from time to time, got to access the track to go out and check things have been done correctly. Voila! We've got to satisfy ourselves that when we send our drivers out there that everything works correctly, and should they get into trouble, they've got phones that work. Right, this bit of kit is called a current rail indicator device, or a CRID. I will use this to check that the traction current has gone off. The first time you do it, you step over it quite carefully when you realise there's a bare bit of metal there that if you touch it, it's going to just, well, you're going to go up in flames. As the traction current is discharged, I'll see the 3 lights go off. So as soon as those 3 lights go out, we're away. It's now 1:20. Traction current would normally have been turned off by now. But what we've got is an engineer's train moving through the area tonight. It's going to be doing some major work down at Baker Street. Yes, there is a sort of different breed of person that does night shift. I maintain we do it just to get out of get away from the wife and kids, and get away from the passengers asking the same question 20 times a day. But there we go. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it.
The deadline is looming for the Heathrow track replacement. With only 3.5 hours until trains are set to run over the new track on Monday morning, all hands are needed to get the last work finished.
Can't beat a shovel. So I'll leave you to it then now, I won't stop you, so another hour, yeah? Done. Cool. We're looking to start clearing the track now. Once we finished our works, we're just waiting on signals. Once they've tested out and it's all clear, then we can hand the track back and trains can run on this first thing in the morning.
While the traction current has been off all weekend at Heathrow, Andy Hogg is waiting for the all clear before he goes onto the track.
A lot of wildlife down the tunnels. A lot of foxes, a lot of badgers, rats. Every 10 feet there's a rat. Obviously they're quite dank down here, so rats quite like it. That's a new bit of kit. What are you doing there? Is it just cleaning the railways here? Well tested. Oh right, is this new kit that's coming after Hammersmith? It's a new ultrasound gizmo, I think is the best way of looking at it. It basically checks the entire track. If there's any hairline fractures, any hairline cracks in the track, this thing will pick it up.
A few stations away, something altogether more cultural is happening. Liz O'Sullivan and Tamsin Dillon from the Underground's Platform for Art scheme have commissioned a series of new artworks.
It's almost like Santa's elves in a way that we're able to come in during the night, put up something quite extraordinary for people to see in the morning when they come in.
Started in 1999, Platform for Art has found its natural home at Gloucester Road.
It's a disused platform. The niches that you see here almost act as a natural theatre space for exhibiting work.
It's quite nice being in the station when there aren't trains whizzing by all the time, and it's a great time to see the work, actually.
Hello, can I order a pizza, please? Oh, mate. Cheers, Tom. Yeah, that works. Human beings and trains can't fit down here together. So we have got 3 hours, 20 minutes every night in which to do our work. Many a job that they do down here that you or I could do in a house, we do a 2 or 3 person job. Down here you'll find there's 20 blokes simply to carry all the stuff on to site on time and to get all the stuff off on time. That's why track work is very expensive, unfortunately. Very little time, a lot of people.
This year, £150 million will be spent on track replacement. With so much at stake, there's no room for error for Neil and his team.
We want to get our wheels free in the next hour, which means I want everything off. Trolleys, trains and machines. All right, so how long are you going to be with that train? And if it's, I would say if it's more than an hour, then it's the wrong answer. Well, it ain't going smooth, is it?
Neil's got a problem. Over the weekend, 30 trains have been stranded at Northfield's depot. For trains to run on time tomorrow morning, the depot manager needs to start moving them. But for that, he needs traction current on. With Neil's men working on the track, this is not an option.
The depot, they use this road to bring the trains in and shunt them around to get them ready for the traffic in the morning. So it does have the potential, as I said, to affect the trains and running from this depot out east.
The current has to be kept off if Neil's team are to work in safety, even if it means delaying the morning service.
When you're rewiring a plug at home, you've got a 1mm piece of wire which will power your kettle, and it's 240 volts, 30 amps. Just to give you some idea of the amount of current we've got going through these rails, this is the cable we have to use. We've got 630 volts, nearly 3,000 amps going through that. There is enough power going through these rails to move a 200-ton train up to about 7 miles an hour. So you can imagine the amount of electricity that's going through it. So when someone touches this, it's a good idea.
If the work overruns and interrupts the morning service, there'll be financial penalties to pay for Neil's employer, Tube Lines. Neil has to convince the depot manager to give his team some valuable extra time.
Right, if I leave one Boston and one shed open, that's a through road and it won't affect any train movements. Yeah? So we're playing for that, yeah? You happy with that?
I'm still smiling. Just about. Job.
We've always got a plan B and C. We have to have. It comes with experience in this business. You can put a plan on paper, and it's usually changed before the ink is dry.
"4 a.m. Gloucester Road. The artworks are finally up, and Liz and Tamsin can admire the fruits of their labour.
It's quite funny to see a new set of work again, isn't it?
Well, especially because it's so vastly different from the last. This is just so... It's gentle. I'm still trying to pick a favourite.
I like the cool dude bit. Once the lights come up, it's fantastic to see the works in place, and they do look really beautiful, actually. I'd be keen to get home and get to sleep. I'm pretty ready to hit the hay, yeah.
In a male-dominated environment, Liz and Tamsin aren't the only women on the night shift.
Olivia Newton-John. Who put her there and how long she's been there, I don't know, but there she is, smiling at you when you come round the bend. Well, there we know. Well, she's not doing any harm, so.
We'll do the final walk through now. Do the hand back.
With the first train due to run over the newly completed track in just over an hour's time, Neil must get his 100-strong team off-site.
Get clear of the track, please. Thank you very much. Get off. It's just a bit of a twitchy moment. And I'm getting twitchier by the moment. Is that them last two?
Yeah.
Can I walk any faster?
No, health and safety.
I'll give them health and safety. Right, all clear. Well done, Faith. Well done, lads. Woohoo! I thought we weren't going to do it. A bit of hair and scaring with a few signal people, but we got there in the end and we've done well.
It's only taken 3 weekends for Neil and his team to completely replace the worn track ballast and sleepers between Acton Town and Heathrow. Next time, trainee driver Terence handles a train for the first time.
Okay, that's where the breakfast is. There's your coast. Okay.
And 60-year-old Keith does it for the last.
Hit me one more time.
On the tube, trainee driver Terence handles a train for the first time.
Okay, that's where the breakfast is. There's your coast. Okay.
And 60-year-old Keith does it for the last.
Hit me one more time. Lovely.
With over 500 trains running every day, London Underground need a lot of drivers. In fact, they have over 3,000 of them, and every week another one begins on the network. Today, Terence Makubika from Zimbabwe is applying for the post of train operator. With 12 lines to choose from, Terence is keen to start on an up-to-date line like the Jubilee.
Jubilee line will be the best. Well, second priority central line, maybe Piccadilly line. The district line, the trains are too old now.
You want to pop your headphones on?
It costs the Underground up to £18,000 to train each driver, so Terence has to go through a barrage of tests to make sure he'll be up to the job. After that, it's straight into the classroom for the start of an intensive 17-week course.
When you're using the traction brake control, this is your way of controlling that.
But the first hands-on experience of trains he gets is slightly underwhelming. This model railway is designed to operate just like the real thing.
It gives you the practical of what you need to know, but it will never be the same as being on the train itself.
And that overlap is related to what signal section? This one.
A13.
Yep, related to 131. And then what's making you move forward?
I just want to be in front of the train. If they can just cut out the train and say go on the train, that is what I'm waiting for.
Once qualified, drivers are overseen by people like duty manager for trains, Andy Hogg.
I've got the big hat on today and the big stick to hit anyone that's not doing what they're supposed to do.
Today, he's checking his driver's speed over a piece of track which has a 20-mile-an-hour limit.
What we've got here looks like a common or golden tuning fork. And in fact, it is a common or golden tuning fork, but it's a very specially machined one. What it does, when you hit it and it rings, it gives a 65 mile an hour reading on the piece of kit. Here we go, good 65 miles an hour. Now we simply wait for our first victim. There we go, 19 miles an hour. In the 20 zone, so I think that's quite acceptable. Yeah, I was a driver on a district and a Northern Line before that. And no, I didn't get caught speeding because they never had this equipment. There's a certain amount of leeway. You've got a 10% buffer zone, if you like. Over that, it really depends on the level of speed that the driver's doing above the speed limit. Ranging from anything from just a little word in their ear, watch your speed, through to formal disciplinary action if a driver is speeding excessively. There we've got one, 24 miles an hour. Yeah. Okay. Which is over the buffer zone. He's over the 10%. So he knows his speedometer would have showed he was going about 20 miles an hour. But that's not fast enough to warrant disciplinary action. So when we see the driver concerned, we'll just have a little word in his ear to say, watch your speed, I don't want to see that again.
As a driver, experience counts. And there's no more experienced driver on the Metropolitan line than 60-year-old Keith Tibbles, who began on the Underground aged 15.
My father said to me, you ever come on London Underground, I'll kick your backside. And I said, you better kick your backside, I'm starting tomorrow.
His father worked for 24 years on the Underground, and Keith started as a boy porter at Amersham.
I remember my first day. Steam train came into Amersham. The driver said, there's something bouncing underneath, he says. And we got down and had a look, it was somebody's head. So I broke in gently.
The world's first underground railway, and originally steam, the Metropolitan line was only electrified past Rickmansworth in 1961.
When you're a kid, you get that smell of steam in your lungs, you know, and it never leaves you. It never leaves you, and you smell a steam train, and you think, oh, lovely. It's great.
But a million miles away from the world of steam is the Northern Line's high-tech tube simulator suite. Costing over £4 million, it's about to put Terence and the other trainees through their paces.
I could hear an alarm in the background. Have you got any problems there?
On the simulator, you know, you have people who are going to put each and everything that can go wrong for you there. This makes me more nervous than being on the train itself, trust me.
Go with him, my friend.
Right, okay. Don't listen to him.
As Terence is starting his training, Keith is coming to the end of his career. He's retiring today, and after 44 years of service, is about to drive a train for the last time.
All the characters are gradually going over the years. We were just saying this morning how it's only 4 generations ago that the Metropolitan Railway started. So if you think of 4 people that were doing the same amount of service as Keith has done, that's when it all began. Quite a historical moment in a way. You're going to be missed, Keith, you know that.
Your last trip?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Enjoy yourself.
See ya.
See you.
Hit me one more time. Lovely, isn't it?
This station is Baker Street. Change here for the Bakerloo, Hammersmith and City, Circle and Metropolitan lines.
This train terminates at West Hampstead. Please stand clear of the doors.
This station is St John's Wood.
This train terminates at West Hampstead. Please stand clear of the doors.
This station is Swiss Cottage.
This train terminates at West Hampstead. Please stand clear of the doors. This station is Finchley Road. Change here for the Metropolitan line. Please mind the gap between the train and the platform. This train terminates at West Hampstead. Please stand clear of the doors. All change, please. This train will now terminate here. All change, please. All change, please. This train will now terminate here.
The next station is West Hampstead. Doors will open on the right-hand side.
All change, please. This train will now terminate here. All change, please. All change, please. This train will now terminate here. All change, please.
This station is West Hampstead. Change here for National Rail Services and London Overground.
All change, please. This train terminates here. All change.
right-hand side. Change for National Rail Services and London Overground. This station is West Hampstead. Change here for National Rail Services and London Overground.
This train terminates at Green Park.
open on the left-hand side. Change for the Metropolitan line. Please mind the gap between the train and the platform.
Mind the gap.
This station is Finchley Road. Change here for the Metropolitan line. Please mind the gap between the train and the platform.
Mind the gap.
This train terminates at Green Park.
Mind the gap.
This station is Swiss Cottage. This train terminates at Green Park.
Please stand clear of the doors.
station is St John's Wood.
This train terminates at Green Park.
Okay, my mic is on. What is happening? What is happening? What happened? I can't leave the sea.
Stand clear of the doors, please, ladies and gentlemen. This train is now ready to depart. Stand clear of the doors. It really seems as if I'm driving a real train. You know, saying the things on the simulator and the sounds, they're just original. I've got an MCB tripped. Something just happened on my train. Oh my God. I've got a defect. If this happens in the real world when I'm driving the train, this would be just too much for one shift.
Oh, I love the Met, yeah. Well, it shows, doesn't it? I'm the longest serving chap on the Met. 44 years and 7 months, which is a lifetime. Ooh, Gil. Past Baker Street train, calling Harrow on the Hill, Wembley Park, Finchley Road and Baker Street only. Stand clear of the doors, please. Well, a bit sad in some ways because it's an era, isn't it? Dinosaur, anyway. You've got to go with modern times, but I can't. I can't move on. And when something comes along new, we don't like it. I still reckon the old way's the best.
Can't remember what the speed limit is, so I might be going over the speed limit.
Oh, he's going a bit fast now, though.
No, so I'm checking on my monitors to see if everything is clear when I'm approaching the platform.
No, there we go. Oh!
I'm going too fast, I'm going too fast. I've overrun the platform.
Drugs and alcohol, people. That's
Yeah, controller, I am at Woodside Park Station at the moment. I've overrun the platform with half car's length.
Right, okay, if you can remain there, I'll get the station supervisor down to check the situation out.
One of the naughtiest things to do to overrun the station, I have to make a PA to my customers. I don't know what I will say to them, because I know they're not very happy. Ladies and gentlemen, I do apologize about the situation. I have not been able to stop at the previous station due to a station overrun. Once again, I do apologize. Thank you very much. This is not a very good situation, because I know customers are not happy now.
What can you do then?
There's nothing much I can do, just to continue. As long as I don't get out of my cab, I'll be safe. Because if I go back in there, then I'm done.
If I had £1 for every time I'd run up and down here, I'd be a millionaire. I wouldn't need the lottery. This is Baker Street. This train terminates here. All change, please. Would you make sure you have all your belongings with you when you leave the train, please?
Remember to stow it as well?
Yeah. Give me another train. Give me another train. This one's got a problem with the brakes. The brakes are weak on this one.
Keep going, saying a bad work and always blames their tools.
That's right. Push them in. Oh, me aching back. Oh, me aching back.
With Keith's old-fashioned ways, it's been hard to keep up in a high-tech world. One of the most technologically advanced parts of the underground is inside the central line control room, where signalman Bob Yeldon works.
I would compare this controlling our line as an air traffic control room. Air traffic control